$183,000. That includes an appropriation for the boiler, which we're anticipating at some point we're going to have to replace. That's a $20,000 hit to the budget. Pretty much everything stayed the same. There's a couple things we had to increase. The fuel for the past year, we paid almost $10,000 for fuel over the year, and our budget for it was only $5,000. So we had to increase that. Office expenses, the copier expense went down. Because we changed it, small world, we won't be using the copier as much, so we're saving money on that. But essentially, everything is the same as last year. I can run up and make some copies if you guys want to conduct any other business.
We can, if you'd like to, yes. Sorry about the confusion, everybody. We thought we had all our ducks in a row, but evidently we don't. Erin was giving it to it on Tuesday, and I didn't see anything yesterday. I should call Patty because I thought she had picked it up. But anyhow, one of the other things that we have, where we decreased our spending is with the janitor service. It's probably about half of what we were spending before. And thanks to Cindy for the great job that she's doing. One of the things with the fuel that we're going to try to save money this year, excuse me, is if you look at the radiators, they're a little different in the Sunday school entrance than what they are down here. Sunday school, the heat all comes up the top, it goes in the bottom, it comes up the top, this comes out of the side. And what I've done is I went to, well, first of all, I was thinking about putting some insulation board because we're not using half of the Sunday school upstairs. And I found out through my grandson we could save $10 a sheet, but I figured we needed 10 sheets, and that still would have been $190. So I thought maybe down the road we could spend some money on that. But I went to Felton and I got cardboard, so I covered the face of the radiator all the way to the floor, and then covered the top. So we're going to try to save heat on the west end of the Sunday school by doing that. I got a thermometer up there that the water, if you're looking at like a sheet like this, the water is inside in the inside of the building. The heat is all on the outside. And the way the heat travels, we have hot water heat, and the way it travels, it starts out in the boiler room and goes all the way to the classroom and then circles back to the boiler room. So we're hoping that that'll cut down on some of our heat expense. Also for electricity up there, we're only using half the rooms we used all last year. So we're hoping that that'll help us out a little bit also. And downstairs, I'm doing the same thing in two of the rooms downstairs where we're shutting off. One is a storeroom and one is a youth room. We're going to block off the heat on that, hoping we can save some money there. So we're trying to do the best we can with our spending of money. There's a few other things I'd like to talk about. Does anybody have any questions about the fuel and the heat? That's a really socked the heck out of us last year. Anybody got any questions? If not, then I'm going to go on. One of the things that I'd like to discuss is, see Bonnie is standing in the background over here. You can sneak in, Bonnie, if you'd like to. Bonnie is our new director for Small World and also for Sunday school. And we want to bring back Small World under the umbrella of the church. It kind of drifted away for years. It started out that way. and it drifted away, and now that we're no longer connected with the school district, we can easily bring it back. So like somebody said at our council meeting here the other day, it's like redoing our wedding vows. So nothing has changed, we're just bringing it back under our umbrella. Bonnie, would you like to make a comment?
I think that is an apt description. When I did some research and looked back on records and the history of Small World, indeed it was that almost 40 years ago, Jack, that
Yeah.
Small World was set up to be a ministry of St. Mark's. And over time, we've kind of drifted away to what the true objective of a children's ministry would be all about. So we would like to have everyone kind of reaffirm that mission that was established 40 years ago with those people who may not even be with us any longer, who set up Small World as a ministry of St. Mark's. And I want to thank everybody for their support. It's been so heartwarming to have everybody greet and support Small World. I encourage you to not just stop in this building, but please come over to the school and come to know the parents and the children. And as we restore that ministry of the Small World Children's Ministry, we are restoring the future of St. Mark's Church. So again, please knock at our door, greet us a visit. So now I need to head back to Sunday school. I left her door.
Thank you, Bonnie. Incidentally, like Bonnie said, if you get a chance, please go in that school area. She's done such a wonderful job, the way she's got the school set up now, and all the different things she does for preschool. And not only that, but for Sunday school also. She has the parents bring the kids in through the church so that they see the church. And then she takes them into a classroom upstairs where they can look at a big screen, and then they go downstairs for some craft work. But she's doing a wonderful, wonderful job. And she also helps us out on our call committee. We asked her because she's so good at all the things that she does, and she has some very good ideas. So when you see her again, thank her.
Can I add something to that? When you come and visit a Small World, the parents come at about 11 o'clock. So if you come in during that time, you get to meet the parents too. And they get to meet you. And so if you could, kind of plan at 11 to come.
That's Monday through Thursdays.
No,
Yeah.
Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday is the classes. They don't have a class on Monday. She had a young girl, only one person signed up for the whole week. And the family got COVID, and I don't know if she quit coming after that. So now she's got either seven or eight kids during the week, but it's Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. And it's from 8 in the morning till 9, or till 11, I'm sorry. I got 9 on the brain, that's when I want to get out of here. A couple other things, if there are any questions about Bonnie. If not, I'm going to move on to Saturday service. There's been some question about whether we need to have Saturday service or not. And I feel as though it's important that we do have Saturday service. There's some things that we could change in not having Saturday service. First of all, if we had a pastor would be off, could be off on Saturday. And there was some talk that Pastor Sal didn't like being here on Saturday because that was his only day off. Well, he actually had Friday off, but he worked from home on Friday. Another thing would be Carol could have off on Saturday. The negatives to that is I really don't think we should make a change right now. Because if we want to grow and people are, now this is my own opinion, but if people are coming and haven't been here for a while and all of a sudden something happens in their life, and they decide, oh, I'm going to go to church Saturday night and if the door is locked, they probably won't come back. Another thing would be, how many Saturday night people that are coming now, and we've been averaging over 30 every week, that might not come because they like Saturday nights. Pastor Fossum, for any of those old timers that know this, he started this way back when. And then Pastor Comstock continued it. The other thing is, somebody said, well, we could save $150 because that's what we spend now for a pastor on a service. It's $125 for service and then giving them $25 for gas money. If we had a full-time pastor, intern pastor, they'd be paid per salary. So we really wouldn't be saving anything if we had an intern pastor as far as Saturday service, because they'd be paid anyway. So this is something that I think everybody needs to consider and really think about it hard. I right now would like not to make any changes for a simple reason. Until we get a pastor, full-time pastor, and that pastor can tell us what he would like to see, and then he's going to have to sell it to all the people that normally come Saturday night, kind of like we did when we sold the deal with having a youth minister or ministry here and set aside $40,000 for that. So keep it in mind, and if you think of it, anything else, or if you want to vote on it sometime before the meeting is over, it would be nice to know where we stand. Another thing I want to mention about service is Advent service. There's been a lot of talk about that, and because we don't have a full-time pastor, so we'd have to pay $125 again for a pastor to come. And I talked to Pastor Tanapi, and he suggested that we have our service, but we use literature from that we can print out and have a layperson read it, and then sing songs like we have in the past, and not have a pastor here. So that's another thing that I would like you to think about. Before the meeting is over, maybe we can come back and address these two things, give you a chance to think it over, and see what you think about that. Another thing, what time would we want the Advent service to be? In the past, we've had it a couple of times, we've had it at 11 o'clock, and we've also had it at 6 o'clock at night. And it's very sparse. There's probably 15 to 20 people that come. If we're lucky, we have that many. And I don't know if, that's one of the reasons why I was wondering about having a pastor come or not, or Wednesday night, or Wednesday in the morning. But if we had it Wednesday night, one of the things that would be nice would be that Carol would be coming for a choir practice anyway, and we'd be heating up the church, not only for the service, but also for the choir practice. So I would prefer if we come back to this later on, give you time to let it sink in a little bit, and then give me your ideas of what you would like to see happen. The other thing is, Patty is passing out our budget, and the only thing really outstanding on that, other than we left our pastor's salary in there because we don't know when we're going to get a pastor. It could be 6 months from now, it could be a year and a half from now. We don't know when that's going to happen. But if we have a pastor coming soon, we thought, well, we'll leave it in because the budget is closed for a year, and who knows what's going to happen within the year. So another thing I want to mention is about Pastor Lay, who's sitting in the back of the church. Pastor, would you please stand up so that everybody sees you?
My knees hurt. Why'd you ask me that?
Pastor Lay has helped us with some of the services, in the past, but also Pastor is doing our confirmation service right now on Wednesday night. And he's doing a great job with that. And we're hoping that he can keep on. And that's why you haven't been seeing him here on a Sunday, because one project during the week is enough for him because he's retired. He said he would help me out in a pinch if I wasn't a blind. But Pastor, I want to thank you again for doing what you're doing, folks. Thank you. Patty is handing out sheets for the budget.
The budget, I also got what we got for income. I neglected to put what we paid out last year, which was $216,000. So we'll probably have about the same as, well, no, we'll have less this year because we're not being parents.
Right. Another thing that, while Pat is hanging that out, there's a lot goes into doing the budget. As Scott, who was in the back of the room, has helped us before, put the budget together for a number of years. We do the best we can with what we think might happen, and we don't have a crystal ball to look into, so we don't know for sure what all we're doing. We're hoping that we do it all right. The last year was kind of a guessing game with the heat and electricity. So this year, hopefully, we got a better handle on it. So one of the things that might be outstanding when you look at it is we had to draw money, and I don't, Patty, did you see you had Thrivent too?
Yeah, I got the Thrivent, and I also listed what withdrawals we
Okay.
made from Sam.
We had to draw money out for a number of reasons over the past few years, because we didn't have enough money coming in. We have a pretty good amount in the Thrivent account, which has saved us over the years. Thrivent is broke down into a large cap, small cap, and then also annuity. And way back when, for those of you that don't know about the annuity, Lane Albright was on council way back when I was, and Lane decided we were only getting like 0.5% for some of the money at the bank. And he gave his account that him and Cheryl had, they donated it to the church. So it's an annuity. And that annuity right now is paying 3.5%, which isn't a lot. But where we're making money is on the large cap and small cap. The advantage of having an annuity is we can draw money out at any time, and yes, we're losing 3.5%. But if we were to draw out of our stock market stuff, we don't know where the stock market is at the time. Patty is doing a better job as far as handling what monies we have coming in and what's going out. But in the past few times, last year and also this year, we'd get a call from the bank that we were overdrawn. So in order to make payroll in the bills, we have to split some money out fast. So if we can go into a private account, the annuity account, we can get money within a couple of days, and it covers the checks that we have problems with. In the past, nobody was doing this, so Patty took it over, and like I said, she's doing a good job with it. Well, we're doing the best we can, right, Patty? So I don't think there's anything real outstanding other than the heat and the water, or the heat and the lights. Patty can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we did a pretty decent job of making the budget up this year. And getting back to the Trident account, this year we drew out $20,000, I believe. And last year, plus some of it went to savings. So anyhow, last year was over $30,000 we had to draw out to make income. And what I mean by that is the budget is drawn up. And it's, Pastor Barsh, is he here right now? Yes, he is. Or not Barsh, he lives right next, Dowling. I'm sorry, Pastor. He told us in Bible study here the other day that church that he was at, they couldn't make ends meet. So they went to the hardware store where they had a running bill and told them that they couldn't pay the bill this month. And some other people in the congregation found out about it. And that particular Sunday, if I'm wrong, Pastor, correct me, but I think you took in $50,000 in one weekend because the farmers stepped up and helped pay the bill. Because this is something that we've been lax in the past, not letting people know how much money we need to make a week's of our budget. 1 week of our budget is $5,500. And we've been taking in on a weekend, $1,600 has been some of the lowest weekends that we've had. So it's kind of hard making budget without drawing money out of Trident. One good thing about the Trident, it's kept us afloat, and if you look at the full amount of Trident, we've not lost very much for drawing out over $50,000 in the last 2 years. So, with that, Patty, you want to add anything?
No, are there any questions on what we have?
Give you a chance to look it over at home, and if you have any questions, either contact me or
We're
Patty.
not gonna vote on it today?
Well, we will, yes, but I'm just saying that, we want you to be abreast of what's going on, and hopefully what Patty printed out is gonna help you out.
And then again, I got the income figures there, but I neglected for what our expenses were last year, and it was approximately 216,000. So that's why we withdrawn from private savings, because our income was only 188,000.
Yeah,
That was one of the things here a few years ago at the meeting. They told us the expenses, but not the income. So how you, at that time, you don't know, they
Right.
said they needed more money,
Right.
but you don't know the difference,
Yeah.
you don't know that.
You don't get the
You are
right.
doing what is right, and
Well, this is
what
one
the
thing,
shortfall is, and
this is one thing that I think we've been lax in, and this goes back to when Pastor Comstock was here, and nothing against Pastor. But I know one of the council meetings that I sat in back then was he said, well, if people know how much money we have on hand, they're not gonna give. Well, God tells us we're supposed to give 10% of our income. So we better start doing it if we possibly can. And I know there's families out there that can't. But I think some of the people that do know, there are a lot of people that do donate more than the 10% of their income. Yeah, which is a good thing, because that's also helping us keep afloat. But if all of us could open up our pocketbooks a little bit more, once we see what we're working against, I think we'll open your eyes and let you know what's actually happening. So are there any other comments from the floor? Okay, if no other comments, then I'd like a motion that we accept the budget for this year.
I still maybe accept the budget as printed.
Could I have a second, please? Thank you. I have a motion and a second. Are there any other questions asked? Or questions that you'd like to have answered?
Janet mentioned, why don't we put the boiler on the wish list and start to reserve some money for boiler?
We can, but a lot of times, the money, when they come in, well, we're trying to do a better job with that too. But it doesn't always go on the wish list, because if we're short of money that month, rather than
Well, the wish list, money goes into savings.
savings, right? But if we're short of money in our savings account, we use that.
Right now, there's $10,460 in savings.
Okay, so it's kind of, you're caught between the rock and the hard spot. You're trying to do the best we can with the monies that we have. And here again,
But we can certainly put, if you designate boiler, it will go into savings.
right,
with that
I
designation.
was gonna say, there, don't we have basically a maintenance fund?
No. We got a
What do you
budget.
mean by that?
It's not
Budget.
in our budget as a maintenance item, so if
Oh, yeah.
you put it in as a wish list to donate it toward maintenance.
Right. Well, right now,
Automatically go toward our maintenance.
right now, people-
That's general, that's
Right,
general.
but I mean, still, it's gonna add on to, if the boiler goes, because that's where their money's gonna add.
right. Right now, we've had money donated by a couple of people this year, and that money is in the savings account, and it's kept aside for maintenance use. But so far, we've been very fortunate, and we haven't had to use some of that account, so it's still sitting there.
Well, one column on this budget is the figures of what we have, most recent 10 months, that's what we have spent in those accounts. Our insurance went way up, that,
Yes, that was another thing that bit us last year. We didn't expect it to go that high. So,
Have we done a comparison, have we done any insurance shopping? You know, myself, every 3 years, we look at different insurance companies. And many times you are getting more for your money and less money if you do a little comparison shopping.
we haven't done it for a couple of years. I helped way back when, and I don't remember what year it was now. We did do insurance shopping at that time, and we did save some money, but it wasn't a lot. Most of it is under a church umbrella, and right now, we're possibly gonna have do some work on our roofs. We have some hail damage, and we're following through on that. But nothing serious as far as that we have to replace anything right now.
But if it's been more than 3 years, I would suggest that we do some comparison shopping again.
Okay,
Richard,
yeah,
we still have $2 million, since we lost our school, we still have a $2 million policy for kids and whatever.
well, we still have it, but we haven't done anything about that because we don't know for sure where we're at as far as how many kids she's gonna have, if she's gonna have another teacher coming on. Right now with 7 kids, she's doing it by herself. So we're kind of in limbo as far as dropping insurance off. I wanted to wait till the end of the year and see where we're at and then go from there.
Because we were covered with a $1 million, then we jumped
Right.
up to $2 million.
Right. And what Marv was talking about, it's umbrella, that if you have problems with a teacher or what have you, or covers a whole package of what is, what all could happen as far as sexual abuse and mistraining of the kids. And right now with Bonnie doing it, she's doing 7 kids by herself. Once in a while, she has Hope coming in, which is another thing I wanted to bring up also, and while I'm thinking about it now. If there's any parents that, or people that are retired and would like to come and spend a couple hours someday to help out with preschool, Anita, if you don't mind, I'm gonna mention you, because you came in, if you came in and helped out, and if there'd be other people that'd be willing to do that, it would be nice just to give Bonnie a little relief. Right now, what she does is she has 2 kids, if one has to go to the bathroom, they got a partner, so the other one goes too, to make sure that nothing happens to this little child while they're gone by themselves. So there's a lot of things that we're trying to cover that hopefully we have everything under control, that there is not going to be a problem. But yes, Marv, you're right on that, but the insurance umbrella could get dropped some, which should also bring it down. It isn't much. If I remember right, that extra $1 million was like $400 a year. But if we have a lawsuit, that extra $1 million won't last very long. So, if there's any other comments about the budget, if not, can I show a hands of approval of the budget, please? Thank you. I appreciate it. It's almost unanimous. So, great. The other thing is, let's go back now, give you some time to think about the services. Should we go with a Lenten service? And I'd like to have a motion if we, or Advent, I'm sorry. I'm pushing the season. Advent service, if you would like to have it, if somebody make a motion.
Is this for 11 or 7?
Well, this is another thing, okay, let's back up then, let's have a motion first. Well, let's have a motion first to see if we're gonna have a service. And I will have a motion to see if we, want it. I think it's important that we have a service myself, this is my own opinion. So could I have a motion to see if we're gonna have a service? We have it, huh? Okay, could I have a second, please? Okay, and then what would be a good time? Everybody want 11 o'clock or we want 6 o'clock in the evening? Everybody that wants a 6 o'clock, raise your hand, please. Okay. How about 11 o'clock in the morning? Okay, 6 o'clock in the evening has it. So, now, is there any questions about the 6 o'clock service?
Is it 6 o'clock or 7?
6 o'clock, did I say 7? There's more foolish in me than I think there is. For you that don't know it, my grandma pastor was a Schwintuski. So that's about as foolish as you can get. Anyhow, if there aren't any comments about the Lenten service or Advent service, we will have it then. And we will not have a pastor. Carol offered that she's going to play for us. So we got the music taken care of, and then I'll take care of getting the services lined up. And then I'll need volunteers also for reading the service that we're going to have from a lay person. We voted already on that. So.
No, we did not.
Oh, we did not? I'm sorry, I thought we did. That was a 6 o'clock and 11 o'clock, okay. I thought we voted on, okay, I'm sorry. We're gonna keep the service then at 6 o'clock at night. Would you please raise your hand if you'd like it? Okay, thank you. So it will be at 6 o'clock then on Wednesday nights for Advent. The other thing is, for Advent service, or Advent, it was okayed this last week by Tuesday night by council. There was some question about whether we were going to put up the nativity scene or not. Last year we had a problem where it blew over during the heavy winds. We had a problem years back when we were putting large rods into the ground. When the ground would freeze, we couldn't get them out. So that one year we covered them up with snow and we took the Advent scene down, and the snow melted and a kid tripped on it when they were out there. So this last year we did a different setup after it blew over. We thought we had it right, but we're going to work on it again, and we're going to have to repair one section of the roof. And some guys are helping me tomorrow. They don't know about it, except that we got one of us to bring the roof to my house so I can repair it. Anyhow, so we're going to still have that. Is any, going back to Saturday night service, I would like a motion that we keep Saturday night service, or if we... Okay, well, we did, I discussed to them, do you have anything that... This is what happens when you're going without an agenda. I mentioned this before to let you guys kind of let it sink in as far as whether we want cancel our Saturday night service or Is there any discussion on that?
I think one of the other issues that we had talked about was whether or not that would be a hindrance to a potential applicant for a position. So, it might be, is the congregation willing to bend on that if, we got a great guy coming, something like that. So, that was the only other, I think, one of the other thoughts about not having it on Saturday. Just
Well,
to
it
show that-
gives the new pastor
Right.
at least one day off. Carol doesn't have to be here for 2 days in the weekend, so it'd be beneficial for her as well. I know a lot of you do the Saturday night service, and I've done it for years. But looking at our attendance, we could get by with one service. So that's part of the thinking on that.
The other thing is we're trying to create more of a homey feeling and people getting to know each other. So if you only go to Saturday, you don't really get to know the people who go on Sunday. And part of having the coffee and the sweet treats in the morning is to create that fellowship that seems to be somewhat lacking. I can appreciate Dick's feelings about not wanting to change anything right now, but if we do change it now, and the possibility of a pastor coming in, you've already made that switch in your culture, and they're not coming in with the possibility of not having a Saturday night service. And I do think that family time is important for everyone. Pastors do work hard and long hours, and having a Saturday night off, I think, is important for their family as well. So I guess I am in favor of changing that culture now that other people are in agreement. And I've gone to Saturday night too. I like Saturday night, but I really feel like our numbers have dwindled, so that isn't really financially feasible and necessary at this point. And if somebody does come who hasn't been here, well, I guess so sad for them. I mean, I don't think they can expect that things are going to stay the same if you haven't been to church in a year.
Well, I think if we were to change, one of the things that we need to do is we need to at least wait a couple months, make sure we get it in the Lion and have it in bold print in the Lion, and also make sure that we advertise it in our weekly bulletin and other things too, and do it for a length of time before we do pull the plug on it. I think it's important that we can capture as many people as we possibly can for making the change. Like I said,
I'd like to say that I'm one of those people that goes to whichever service based on family needs and work. So I probably go half and half. So when I work, I have to go to Saturday service. So if there's no Saturday service, I go to a different church. Because I'm a traditionalist and I go to church. So I just want
Well,
to
we
make, I just
can
want
also
to make that.
look at having a different night
That's true. Most churches have two,
too, right?
so that
And when they have Saturday, they generally have 2 pastors. So,
sometimes,
so we could look at another night.
There's Monday nights and Thursday nights that churches will do this.
So that's.
every church I've been at has had 2 services. Sometimes.
yes,
Our numbers on Saturday and our numbers on Sunday are pretty basically the same. There've been a couple of them that have been a little bit more on Sunday, but how can you say then we're not gonna have a Saturday night service based on numbers? You can't say that. Because we're pretty equal, Saturday night and Sunday, and we like our Saturday night service.
Sunday,
yes, in the back.
So I never go to Saturday night, but but I kind of feel that it's important that we do have another night. I know a lot of my friends have children that unfortunately, right or wrong, they have a lot of games and sports events that are happening on Sunday, either morning to midday, and it's really nice to have another option for them. I also worry about, we've had a lot of kids to our church recently, and our membership shows it, the people that are actually showing up, and I at this time, with so many changes taking place, it feels a little bit uncomfortable to eliminate a service and then tell, you know, the 30-plus people that go to that maybe they need to go someplace else. I would worry about that. I'm not saying that I would rule out in the future that if we get a new pastor and they're like, you know, we want to take Saturday off, I don't think that would be wrong, but I think maybe right now it's not the right choice.
I think right now is the wrong time to rock the service. When the new pastor comes in, if they want to work Friday from home, they can do that. And or whatever day they want to pick, if they want Sunday, Monday off, we should let them off.
I know Pastor Sal, he didn't care for Saturday service, but he worked from home on Friday, but he worked pretty much every day of the week.
And you didn't let us know that, so, you know. So that's the other thing, is talk to the new pastor and see what days work for them.
Well, that's what I thought, that's why I suggested earlier that we do not make a change now, but that's my opinion.
Okay, Saturday people, would you be adverse to a different night?
Absolutely.
You would not want a different
There's
night?
too much going on other nights, with other things, other events. Any churches that I've talked to that have churches on Thursday night, for example, I mean, they have a handful of people, that's it.
That's what I heard too.
That'd be a serious mistake to change.
All right.
If you're doing during the week, I mean, there are still some people that work nights.
Yeah.
And if you don't have your service on a weekend, they're not gonna be here. They work second shift, they work third shift. So those
But
people,
they come
those
on
people.
Sunday.
Well, but sometimes.
What I'm saying is if you want two services, you say another night. Well, if you pick another night other than a weekend, you're taking your second and third shifters and basically telling them, I guess you don't go to church.
And go on Sunday.
But you're taking that option off the table. You just said if we want to do two services, Sunday and another night. Well, if it's gonna be a night service as our second service, it's gonna should be a weekend because people that work during the week won't come to church. There are people that want to do the night service for whatever reason, it's either the kids, or work schedule, or other events that are going on. I mean, yeah, if we get another pastor and they want to go to one service and if we want to accommodate that, that's great.
Okay, so
But I mean, we're at a system,
T-Bone.
to me, yeah, because there are some people here obviously that say, I like the night service and that's the way I want it. And if that's the case, well, they're members just as well as everybody else.
I just would like to add that, I know that like my sister's church, the Lutheran church, they do have a Saturday service, but the lay people take over a whole lot of duties during that time. So it's kind of, maybe that might be our, one of the things that we consider is that, you know, is building up the lay ministry here. That can do a lot more of the service, you know, like reading the church prayers, reading, you know, all these different things. So, and then the pastor just has to do the sermon and the communion. So I think that maybe that is something that we need to think about also. So to relieve some burden on the pastor. So.
Yes, what?
But the pastor has to be here anyway, so, I mean, we still have people that read, you know, the lessons and help with the communion and stuff, so what would be the other things
You
that,
know, maybe just some of the whole, participating in the whole, all of the services part. Like say, you know, doing the prayers of the church and that kind of thing. So I mean, those things can, to stand up there and to read all this stuff on the spot that whole hour. That's all. At least it may not be as tiring or exhausting or whatever. That's the issue that have to sell that. Just a thought.
Well, that's something we can decide in the future when we find you, yeah, pastor.
Right. Well, I know of a Catholic church that, they switched to a Thursday night and their attendance isn't very well either. I wasn't gonna bring that up, but I just want to mention that. I think it's something that we have to table for now, though. What was that, Bill?
Yeah, I want to keep the Saturday night. There is, Scott, he's got a good point there. There's people work nights or Thursday night or something. I think that's maybe ridiculous. Anyway, that Saturday night works out good for us. It's got me coming every week, which is, didn't you say that?
Well, it also gives you flexibility if you have more than one service. I mean, sometimes there are people like, this is basketball season. There are people going to state tournaments, regional tournaments, sectional tournaments. It's Saturday night and that's their night. They can come Sunday. But if you take away a Saturday night service and say it's only Sunday, you're going to alienate certain people. I mean, not everybody, the majority should say, fine, I'll go on Sunday. But if you lose 2 or 3, it permeates. I just assume that, let's not alienate or say, tell somebody you gotta come to service on Sunday or you don't come to service. Because then they're gonna say, I guess I'm not coming to service. I don't wanna go down that road, personally.
Well,
We can have an option, something comes up on Saturday night, you can go to church on Sunday. If you got a family get together on Sunday, you can go to church on Saturday night. I just like a little bit of openness for people to go to church, for the ability to attend service.
And the numbers have been very much the same with Sunday and Saturday night. But a minister, he's gotta be here for 1 hour, it's not like he's working all day. Maybe that's easy for me to say, but,
It is.
it is.
They don't.
It's
just like me singing a solo, it takes a lot of effort and a lot of practice time at home to get it right. Nobody realizes that unless you sing a solo.
But he's doing the same one on Sunday as what he is on Saturday night.
But that's not all he does.
That's all he does is the long concept.
Right.
Well, I can see this is a really hot topic.
Yeah.
But being on the call committee, I think it will play out and we will see how the Saturday night service issue plays into people who answer the call. If we're finding that that is a huge issue in us trying to recruit a pastor, then it may have to come back for consideration because, we may have to change how we feel and look at things outside the box. But until that time, I just status quo.
A new pastor is always going to come in with some service suggestions. And so why this is, might work better, and then that's just something that you address when you work together with a new pastor.
Right. And I think everyone should take the opportunity to take the handouts in the back of the church from the book, Are We a Dying Church? Because there's a lot of good information in there, and I think it does have people start looking at things outside the box, and do we fit that criteria? So me for one, I don't want to be a dying church. This has been my church always, and it would be heart-rending to have to see us close our doors. I don't think we're at that point, but we need to recruit pastors. We need to be open-minded.
All right, I think for now, let's table this, and we'll come back at a later date. We're gonna kind of pick it apart. We got one more real important thing, is council members. Right now, we have to replace Don, who is leaving because of health reasons. Teresa's left, and a little twisting of the arm, I got Patty to stay. And also I got Scott to stay. And we also lost Gail, who finished her term this last year. And speaking of Gail, I never gave it a thought this morning. Her mom passed away yesterday, and I forgot to mention that this morning. I don't know for sure. She called me yesterday because Pastor Sal had said he could come or would come, but I don't think he figured it was going to be so soon. And I don't know this for a fact, but I was told that once they leave, they aren't supposed to come back for a year. So I don't know if that's involved in that or not. But please keep Betty and her Betty's family and Gail, of course. I think she's the only one that's left, isn't it? I think so. Please keep her in mind. Anyhow, Dave Fisher has offered to take a spot, and he lives just down the street here in Dave Clem-Baker this morning. Tanya Stewart offered to take a spot, which Tanya is here this morning. Tanya, would you take that? And Tanya is also working on our website, and this is one of the things that we need to thank her for, because in the book couple books that I've read recently, one is about the church dying. One of the things that people do if they're looking for a church is they go to the website. I'm old-fashioned, so I won't do that, but the website needs to be updated, and Tanya's doing a wonderful job with that right now. So, there again, Tanya, thank you. Also, I wanted to try to break it down a little bit more guys and ladies on the thing. I feel kind of, Scott and me feel kind of bad once in a while, and Scott, Eric also, because we're outnumbered. But no, I'm just kidding about that. But I talked to Jared Beatty, who was working here Tuesday night, and he wants to come to our council meeting in December, and then he's going to give me an answer after the council meeting. So that would fill the final spot for our council members. So we're going to meet again at a later date to vote in Jared, unless you want to vote him in if he decides today, or when he comes to the next meeting, however you guys want to do it. But we need to vote in Tanya and also Dave Fisher for our new council members. Okay.
Meeting here, we have most of the church members here from both services.
Okay, can I have a second on that? Okay. Everybody in favor by raising your hand? Okay, unanimous, good. I think by getting my idea of getting younger people instead of old guy like me, was that we get some maybe more younger families involved, where we're not doing it now. So I'm hoping to get more younger people involved. So, Tanya, thank you again. And if you see Dave Fisher, make sure you thank him. And I'm pretty sure Jared will come on. Jared was here the other Tuesday, and in fact, he hadn't given me an answer yet. And he was doing some electrical work here for me. And right now, for your information, we can control unlocking the doors and locking the doors from 2 different spots without getting off. Bonnie can do it from her classroom now. Her and some wire to there. And Erin can do it in her office. And all you gotta do is call, if she's there, she doesn't have to get up from her desk. All she's gotta do is flip the switch in the office. And then as soon as that person comes in, well, she's got a red light on it. And she knows when the power's on and when it's off. So we have better control of the doors and more secure. And that was one of the things that the families that were coming in with their kids, they were very pleased to know that we had secure doors here. So we still unlock the doors, like for Bible study in the morning, I'll unlock both doors so that people can come in, that in the window coming in. As soon as Bible study is over, I lock the doors. We go back to the switch control. And we're working on trying to get a more electronic one. We had one started, but we couldn't make it work, and the guy that we bought it from was 13 hours away from us. And we didn't spend that much money on it, but you get what you pay for once in a while. So Jared is going to work on that. He is a certified electrician, and he's put in door systems before. And he's going to work to see what he can come up with, and then we'll present it to the council when he comes up with something. And if it's not an outrageous amount, which I'm hoping it wouldn't be, we'll probably go with that and bring it up at our next meeting. So with that, does anybody else have any questions? Yes. Yes, you can. I'm sorry about that. I almost forgot, Bob.
So, maybe most of you know, we're closing down, this week is the last of the grief share sessions for the 13th session group. But Saturday the 19th at 10 a.m., we're having grief share for the holidays. So if any of you here or someone you know is grieving the loss of someone, the holidays are coming, it's a really tough time. And we'd love to have them come on Saturday the 10th. We'll be right down here in the fellowship hall.
Anybody else? I got one more thing yet. Patty just told me that we made 135 pie fillings this last week and bagged it up. So, and they're selling for $8 a day. So if you want to buy, they're frozen right now. So if you want to buy some pie filling, what you got to do is get the crust and dump it in. Or you can use it for other things too, because you can make a cake with it also. So be sure that you let us know, and Patty or myself will help you out together. If not, I'd like to close with the Lord's. If there's not anything else, I'd like to close with the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate you.